Hi, and thanks for watching. So, we've had this litter box for the past couple years, but I just haven't really been happy with it. It's the biggest covered litter box that I could find for sale, but it just isn't really big enough. I don't think my cat Nixie can really easily turn around in it, and she's kind of prone to making a mess right on the edge, which isn't great, so I decided it was time to try and make a custom litter box. I ordered the biggest tub with a lid that I could find, which ended up coming from Lowe's. Here are the dimensions on screen. So the first step in turning this tub into a litter box is cutting a hole for the opening. I've heard of some people putting a hole in the lid so that the cat jumps into it to reduce the litter being spread, but I don't really think that's a good long-term solution for when Nixie gets older and might have trouble jumping. So I marked out an opening in the side that's about the same size as the opening in her old litter box, since that seemed to work pretty well for her. For cutting out the opening, I ran into some issues. I started out with a box cutter, but that wasn't really working out, and I was getting pretty tired trying to make a dent in the plastic. So I moved on to what I probably should have done in the first place. So it turns out my father-in-law has this vibration cutter tool, which worked amazingly. To be honest, I was a little scared of using it, and my husband wanted to give it a try, so here are his hands doing the actual work while I just record. To get rid of the sharp edges from our failed attempt, as well as get rid of all the little bits of plastic from the actually successful process of cutting the plastic, we used a totally necessary multi-step process that couldn't possibly have been simplified down by just thinking more about it beforehand. To start off with, we used a wire brush to get rid of all the big chunks around the opening. Next, we used a heat gun to get rid of the sharp edges left from the box cutter, before ultimately using that weird vibration tool thing to sand down the edges. Now for the next step, which I think is a good step to do before giving anything new to your pets, is washing. In general, I think this is a necessary step just to get rid of any contaminants or chemicals from manufacturing, or from the warehouse, or just any bacteria from all of the customers in the store. So this is a secondary litter box that I'm going to put inside the tub. Originally I was just going to put the litter right in the tub, but Nate rightly pointed out that this would be easier to do deep cleans on. So we got a secondary tub just from a pet shop and just washed that out, and it could go right in the tub. Now for the assembly. For an added layer of litter containment, I got one of these trays that you put under washing machines. I've used this for a few years now, and I think it does a pretty good job as just a little container. And then inside of it, I just put all of the litter box gear in the litter box. And I have this little litter catcher mat, which is a little bit more. And while a pretty good amount of litter does still escape onto the ground, this does catch most of it. And now everything's together. The orientation of the litter box does change how much litter is spread. I tend to have the opening face a wall so that she has to walk around a corner, and the longer that she walks, the more of the litter comes out onto the mat or inside the cube, as opposed to as if she just leaped out. So I hope you found this in any way useful. I'll try and look up what that tool is called, since I think just owning one of those made this entire project exponentially easier. But here's what I did for my litter box. Thanks.